10K organically. So how did you do that?
Yeah, so just to touch on that, firstly, like you say, at the time, even though that was my best wasn't good enough. And so like some people, obviously, like I say, I coach people now, they'll come to me and say, I've done this, it didn't work. And I would say, right, okay, show me your ads or show me your content. And I'd be like, your best isn't good. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. You need to do what's required, because you're competing against like me, you, Nike, Adidas, all the big brands who run ads. But yeah, going back to how I scaled up to 10K a month fast, it was basically, I was posting content on TikTok, known as what's called TikTok Organic now, and it's quite popular now, but that was before it was cool, and I had like the kind of first mover's advantage, so I was on it before it was popular, and so I was selling a diffuser. And what I did is, like I say, it's all testing. Everything in life is a test. That's how obviously like everything is sort of stumbled upon. It's all R&D. It's like what's that vaccine? Or I think it's there's some vaccine anyway that was stumbled upon, and that's how it was created. It was just like bacteria in a lab that formed this. It was penicillin, sorry. So that's how penicillin was formed. It was just like bacteria or mold growing on something else, and then boom, that's how we obviously have antibiotics. But it was all testing. So I tested different angles of selling diffuser. So the first angle would be like, does your car stink? And then the second angle would be like, does your room stink? Then the third angle was it was like, spray your favourite aftershave in your diffuser and make your like, it basically make your aftershaves like last longer. And that was the angle that worked. So posted free videos, and that one worked. And so what I then done was removed the ones that didn't work and just doubled down on the ones that did. So kept posting content of that, and every time I posted it, views. And then you're only one video away. That's like my kind of philosophy, is like you're only one away. One product, one an ad, one right person, one connection. You're just always one away from finding that success. And so one day, like one of my videos just hit the algorithm, and you could say I got lucky, but you create your own luck, is what I kind of think. Like, you make it so difficult to lose, it becomes easy to win. So if I'm posting 5 times a day or 10 times a day, and every video I'm getting better, it's only a matter of time, because until I hit that algorithm or I hit that sort of big day. And so one of my videos started flying, and that's it. I think I done 2K in a day sales, so like £1,500 profit. And that's when I knew, like, I just need to keep doing more than this. I like every week and hour I was just creating content, finding new angles and stuff. And so yeah, it was just kind of posting content every day, 5 times a day, modeling what worked. Like, I wasn't the one that pioneered that kind of strategy or that angle, like spraying aftershave. I seen it, someone else had done it, and someone else had success doing that. And so I thought, look, if they've had success, all I need to do is replicate their actions. And if you replicate what someone's done, it often leaves clues, and you'll have similar results. And so that's what I did, and that scaled up to, I think I maybe made around 50,000-60,000 by doing that, until I used that money to then learn Facebook ads and how advertising works. Because obviously you know yourself, and most people listening, like organic or like word of mouth, it works to a certain extent, but it's inconsistent. Some days you might make sales, some days you might not. And it's the days where you don't make sales is where you're like, oh, this doesn't work, I can't be bothered posting. So it's important to detach yourself from the outcome, and whether you get views, brilliant, but don't get high in your own supply. If you don't get views, then don't be disheartened. But I scaled that up to around 60k, and then ultimately I think that stored on 120k. But that was my first taste for it. Like, obviously if I say to people I'm selling a diffuser, like, it's not cool, do you know what I mean? Rather than saying I've got a clothing brand on this and that next thing, but you know yourself, like, you'd be surprised what makes money, like in Ecom especially.
100%. I like to try and touch on a few things there, especially when you said you're only one away. The image that I always have in my head, you've probably seen it, is it's like a cartoon of a guy in a mine with a pickaxe, and just behind that last little bit is the gem diamonds, or the diamond, but he turns around, you know? And that always stays in the back of my mind. I always just think, if you know all of your inputs are correct, and you're doing, like you said, you're doing the best of your ability, it's only a matter of time. It may not be enough yet, but if you keep doing your best and keep controlling as many variables as you can, trying different things, eventually you're going to find what works, and then your best will be enough to get the diamond or to get the... So I always think that. There is another controversial thing that a friend of mine said on this podcast, though, that also sticks in my mind. I don't know if it directly applies to what we're saying, more so about the daily inputs. He said, the right entrepreneur in the wrong vehicle will never get ahead. And that also sticks with me as well, because I think all of these business models work, but sometimes someone can be so focused on the wrong vehicle for them and never be able to get it to work. I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but I'm going to leave a little controversial note there. Maybe people can put in the comments what they believe. You also touched on the inconsistencies of organic. So 100%. And I think that's when it becomes beneficial to take what's worked well organically and put an advertising budget behind it. So is that what you did then to start scaling? Started with your top performers?
Mate, exactly, 100% is what I did, because what's important is to understand the algorithms, how these platforms work. And if you can understand that, you can understand how to make money and how to utilize them. So if you understand that Facebook, TikTok, Google, all these platforms, their business model is the retention of attention for profit. So the longer you can keep someone's attention on the platform, the more ads they can serve them, and therefore the more money you'll make. So it's the same with organic content. The better your video is, the more engaging it is. If they comment, like, share it, the more engaged they are, and the more likely they are to stay on the platform. So if you can create content like that, and it does well organically, if you put money behind it, it's just fuel to the fire. Because all an advertisement is an organic piece of content with money behind it. So if it works with no money, if you start forcing them impressions, it's probably got to do well. So that's exactly what I done. I took my best performing TikTok, downloaded it. I already had it on my camera, so uploaded it to Facebook ads. And then started, this was at a time where you kind of done interests and all that kind of thing, which is, it's more like sort of broad now, isn't it? With Facebook, because it's so advanced. But this is what I done. Took my best ad, and that ad, literally, as soon as I turned it on, it was just, I think I was maybe getting CPAs at like £8. And I was selling it for around £25, and it was costing me like £4. So I was making a lot. And there was a stage, I think I scaled up to around 36,000 a month, or something like that. With that product, and then just with that one ad. But ultimately, creatives die out and that kind of thing, as you know yourself.
And then what happened? How did you transition from that store? Or what did you mark as being the point of like, okay, this product's just not working anymore, maybe I need to transition and look for a new product?
Yeah, so looking back, I don't think it died out. I think it was me. And let's say you don't know what you don't know. Obviously there's unknowns, but it's the unknown unknowns are the ones that catch you out. So I didn't know that you had to keep refreshing your creative. I didn't know you had to test. I didn't know you had to, like, I was so new to it. All I did was have one video, and I just spend more money every day. And if that campaign fizzled out, create a new campaign and the same thing. And so, like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So that's what I was doing. But ultimately, like I say, I wasn't refreshing my creatives. I was complacent. I was in Tenerife, and the product sort of stopped getting sales. And that was a kind of pattern for me anytime. So that was my first ever holiday. So I had never went on holiday until I was 18. Obviously now I travel multiple times a year. But when I was in Tenerife, the product died out. And that's when I knew, like, right now I need to go and replicate this success. Because I was getting kind of used to the kind of lifestyle and that kind of thing. And so that's when I pivoted and found a new product. And I've done the exact same thing. TikToks, I took my most viral TikTok, started running it as ads, but this time I had more understanding. I knew, like, you need to create lots of creatives, you need to test and all that kind of thing. And so the turning point was probably when I was on holiday, and gradually, it's not an instant decrease or an instant drop off, it's gradual. Maybe you like a sale or two less a day, and that kept happening. And yeah, scaled up the new store, which is the store I'm currently running, and the one that's made, I think it's done £1.4 million just on that single store from more or less one product.
Yeah, amazing. So I think that's also really important to highlight, is the fact that maybe the product hasn't died out, maybe just the inputs are wrong, or again, you're not testing enough or controlling the variables. We often say, like at our agency, you know, if anyone approaches us and works for us, we always say, like, ads aren't magic. Like, if you do not have a good product or a good business at its core, it's not going to help you, unfortunately. But so many people will approach us and be like, oh, I don't know, I can't get past X amount in revenue. And when we really look at it, it's like, well, yeah, because this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Like, us just putting essentially a magnifying glass on your business with ads, all it's going to do is make the problems you've got now bigger. Like, so solve them first, then maybe scale up. But I think a lot of people just think ads are going to just be this magic gateway to a ton of revenue, which is not the case.
Yeah, 100%. The way I always like to say is, like, a good product won't scale a Facebook ad account or like whatever, but a good product or a good business is what scales a Facebook ad account. So if, like, you've got something that's good and you have high AOV and low cost of goods and good supply chain, you're able to put fuel in the fire and just run ads and get more traffic. However, if you're selling a product for a £5 and it costs you £2, you're not going to get a free £3 CPA unless you're me. But yes, like I say, most people think that, it's ads is the key to success. But the more and more I learn about, like, obviously the better I become as an entrepreneur, the more I realise it is product. It's product first. because CPMs and all that are only going one way, which is up. And so if you're constantly selling a bad product, and to be fair, the product that I was selling, I'm not going to say it's a bad product, but the quality wasn't good. It would break and all that kind of thing. And so every day it would be 100 emails, the product's crap, this is that next thing. And so I obviously outsourced that. You don't want to be the one responding to customer emails. You want to outsource that stuff. You don't want to get that in your energy, because that'll like stop your conviction, and you won't want to be like selling it as much, because we all have a moral compass. We don't want to sell stuff that's of bad quality and that kind of thing. So I improved the product, maybe got faster shipping, said to my supplier, look, we need to improve the packaging, all that kind of thing. And now it's improved, and so as a result of that, the sales increase. And like I say, you don't get customers to make sales, you make sales to get customers. So people are going to come back and buy again, and that's what's happening now. So I now have a decent return in customer rate, so that's more secure. And like I say, with Facebook ads only going one way, which is more expensive because more and more people are coming on the platforms, it's good to have that kind of product that's going to bring that word of mouth and referrals back.
So how do you identify a good product?
So a good product, I'd say, when testing a product, my methodology is I'll look for stuff that's already worked. Like I say, I don't try and pioneer anything or try and come up with these angles or whatever. I just see what's working and how can I replicate that. And I always I would say that's what I do. I think it's like good artists like create their own, whereas great artists steal. And obviously, if you copy what everyone else does, you'll get what everyone else has.
Yeah.
Like, so you need to make slight improvements or slight tweaks. So one, I'll find what's already working, and two, I'll often check comment sections. Like if people are commenting, "Oh, I want this product, I need this," then that's a good indicator that this is people want this and it's got product market fit. So then I'll start selling it. And a good thing to do, like I say, I don't answer customer emails, but in the beginning stages, you should. And you should see what the common sort of theme is, or if it's, the shipping time's too long, and you keep seeing that, and then you know, right, that's the problem. Yeah. However, if you keep getting common sort of issues like, it keeps breaking after X amount of days or whatever, then you know that it's a product quality issue. And so I think in the beginning, you don't know, so you need to trial, but after you keep making improvements, if you stop getting as much hate or whatever, or much people complaining, then you know it's of decent quality. And I'd probably say if you see people sharing it on their stories, promoting, saying they're happy to get it, and that's the thing with ecom, like most stuff's coming from China, so it's long delivery times. And so if a customer waits a week to get a product and it's of terrible quality, they'll be fuming. However, if they wait a week and it's amazing, they forget all about it. Do you know what I mean? You're just happy that they've had it, to be fair. So I do think it's definitely more about the product, but you can get rich with good advertising. I think that's what I sort of realised. Like I was just, as soon as I found something that worked, I just kept replicating that, and that allowed me to scale up.